Hello everybody and welcome back to another exciting, very exciting gameplay video with Magic Duels. I am your host, Guru from Japan Gaming, and today we're going to look at the Eldrazi deck, which is mostly built around the Displacer. This is different from the Emerge deck that I previously showed, the Eldrazi Emerge. So we got a couple copies of Reprisal, because there is white in this deck. A great way to get rid of big creatures. The Flare is always good for making the opponent sacrifice something. Dazzling Reflection is quite interesting. Often you can just cast it on your own creature to gain a bunch of life, since there's a lot of big Eldrazi creatures in this deck. But it can be a nice blowout card as well. It's pretty interesting. Doesn't see a whole lot of play. Spatial Contortion. This is a white and then colorless deck as well. This is usually, you can use this as a kill card since it gives +3/-3, or you can buff your own creatures since they're usually bigger than the -3. Declaration in Stone is another kill card. Maybe if there's a bunch of tokens on the deck or some creatures with the same name, you can take them all out. Here's the key card. Eldrazi Displacer. Can only have 2 copies, sadly, in this format. But you could do a lot of interesting things with this, and this is why white is in the deck as well as colorless. You need both to play and activate the Displacer. We have the Matter Reshaper, which is just a decent blocker Eldrazi and can get you something. Possibly put a land or a card into your hand when it dies. The Wildfield Scarecrow is in here to help with lands. I found sometimes this deck struggles to get the lands it needs because this deck is not ramping like you usually need to do for a Eldrazi deck. You might need green as a third color to include your ramp cards. But this deck is all about kind of slow rolling it to get to the giant creatures. So a couple utility cards. The Thought-Knot Seer, of course, is a great Eldrazi 4/4. You can take a card away from the opponent, and if it dies, the opponent gets to draw a card, but hopefully that won't happen. The Avacyn, Archangel Avacyn, is in this deck. Not an Eldrazi, but still a pretty useful creature for white, and once again just a one-off. We have Reality Smasher, another pretty nice Eldrazi, trample and haste, and it gets to counter a spell if your opponent tries to destroy it. The Walker of the Wastes is the reason we're playing lots of Wastes in this deck, as it gets +1/+1, and it has trample automatically, so very powerful creature, and it costs 1 waste to play, so it's going to be a 5/5 no matter what. Tamio's Journal is a colorless artifact, and it's a nice way to search for some big Eldrazi creatures or just more card draw with the clue tokens, because this deck sometimes does need some card draw. Now here's another Angel, but this is one we want to be displacing with our Displacer. If you're a little bit behind in the game, which is usually often the case, you can gain life if the opponent has more life, and if the opponent has more creatures, you get to make a 3/3 token, and then you can displace it for only 3 mana, and those effects will trigger again, because that's an ETB, enter effect, enter the battlefield effect. The Angel of Renewal is the same. 6 mana, you can gain 1 life for each creature you control, and you can keep displacing it, bringing it back over and over again for only 3 mana and getting the same effect. The Oblivion Sower is another Eldrazi, pretty big, but a pretty nice blocker, and you can steal some lands from the opponent. Just a one-off, sadly, but pretty good. Endbringer has a lot of utility. 6 mana 5/5, and it actually kind of has a virtual vigilance effect, since it untaps itself during each other player's end step. And then Emeria Shepherd is just a real powerhouse here. Landfall. Whenever land comes in, especially if it's a plains, we can return creatures from the graveyard to the battlefield. And that's, of course, another reason why the Scarecrow is in this deck. Then we have our big creatures, of course. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, pretty much game-winning if you can get it down on the field. And you can also search it up with Tamiyo's Journal. And one more gigantic Eldrazi, Kozilek, the Great Distortion. Nice to play when your hand is empty, refilling your hand. And then we got 9 Plains, 10 Wastes, 2 Ruins of Oran Reef, which can put +1/+1 counters on colorless creatures. So that's why it's in the deck, and it's also a colorless mana. So there's a lot of colorless creatures in the deck. And then we've got a couple Blighted Steeps, where you gain 2 life for each creature you control. So it's another colorless land, but can help you gain a bunch of life if need be. Because this deck is pretty slow, and sometimes you'll be behind. So let's jump in and see how it works. As always, we'll do a few games kind of to show how it works, and then we'll do a 2-headed giant round. Today we'll be playing with Wild Boar, my 2-headed giant partner, and we'll see how this works in 2-headed giant. The Eldrazi Displacer is pretty unique in that it also can really mess with the opponent, displacing their creatures, especially when they try to attack, basically bringing them out of play and putting them back on the field tapped. And also the Displacer, you can use it if an opponent tries to double block, say, one of your creatures, and you can just take one of them out of play and eliminate the other creature. So I kept this hand. You definitely want at least 3, maybe 4 mana if you want in this deck, because this deck really does need a lot of mana. And once again, the Scarecrow is to grab some wastes. If you've got a Walker of the Wastes, you can make it bigger. And you can also grab some plains if you need them. Well, let's go ahead and see what the opponent is working with here, with the Thought-Knot Seer. It's 5/5 already because of Always Watching. So he's got a couple Hooded Brawlers and the True Heart Twins. These are all Exert creatures. But I'm going to go ahead and take the True Heart Twins, since that ability is a little scarier. Its Exert ability. And the Hooded Brawler isn't too much of a threat, at least not for now. Okay, so of course Avacyn you can use as a surprise with Flash. But I'm just going to run out to the Walker of the Waste, which is already a 7/7 trample and vigilant creature. On turn 5, and of course it's just going to get bigger with every wastes we play. So our opponent's just going to play out his second Brawler, which we knew about. Alright, there's another wastes. And we got an 8/8. And we can surprise the opponent here. Attack. If he tries some kind of double block or something, I'll just use Avacyn. Okay, so he's going to triple block the Walker of the Wastes. Well, that's not going to work for him. Can also use Celestial Flare, but I want to save my creature. So Avacyn makes everything indestructible. Celestial Flare forces him to sacrifice a single creature. So there's another Naga. It's like we're against the Naga Snake deck. There's a Reality Smasher, so yeah. Opponent's just super dead here. Sadly we can only have one copy of Ulamog and Kozilek in the deck, so that's why Tamiyo's Journal is here to search those up. And and you honestly don't want them in your opening hand because it's going to be a long time until you can cast those. Alright, let's look at another round. That was kind of a quick showcasing of it. It's surprisingly effective, even though it can be slow. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this opener since, yeah, often, honestly, this deck I like to see 4 lands. So we drew the Ceaseless Hunger, which is not ideal this early in the game, but I do have some early plays, and a Solemn Offering if the opponent plays, say, some kind of enchantment. You can destroy it and gain 4 life. So there's a decent amount of life gain in this deck for you to catch up, and that's why also that Angel is in here, as I mentioned. If the opponent's ahead on life and creatures, that Angel can really stabilize you. And hopefully I get to show off the Displacer, because the deck is kind of built around the Displacer Eldrazi, which is a lot of fun. You can do a lot of very fun things with it, and it's pretty fun in Two-Headed Giant too. So we'll just play out our Matter Reshaper, and you know, this is a card that's a good, you know, blocker, and I'm fine taking out anything he attacks with because you usually get something in return. So yeah, that was a little aggressive, to be honest. Once again, oh, he's buffing his other creature. Well, you know, once again, still being this aggressive is a little dangerous, I think. People are... So I just got another Reality Smasher. People in Magic, I think that's the biggest flaw, is people are just too aggressive. You do need to keep creatures back, even if you feel like your health is high, etc., etc. If you have a good block on something, you might as well keep your creatures back for that block. Yeah, we're under some pressure here. Be nice if he played out an enchantment or something that I could destroy. The Solemn Offering also here in my hand is good for, you know, if they put some kind of enchantment on your own creature, like Compulsive Rest, which shuts you down, can't attack, can't block, then you can destroy such shut down things that are put on your cards. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep putting some blockers out here and hold off the opponent until I can stabilize. And we're getting close to Ulamog. May not always have a chance to cast it, but when you do, it's a lot of fun. Let's see how aggressive he gets here. Just making a zombie. That's fine. Yeah, sadly I can't do both creatures, but I can use the Endbringer here to destroy one of his little 0/1 here. And once again, I'm fine doing that because my creature will untap. The Endbringer is kind of interesting. It untaps each player's end step. So I can use this ability to ping 1 damage to his face every turn. Since he decided not to attack, just making another zombie. Okay, well, I guess it's going to be Always Watching and the Matter Reshaper. So I feel a little better here. Once you get going, you know, your creatures in this deck are usually bigger than the opponent's So pretty easy to hold him off. Ooh, Trial of Zeal. He's going to kill my 4-3. That's okay. Gets something in return. Kozilek. Well, I drew my two big finishers. And for some, let's see. That's a zombie. He only has blue-white, so I don't think he has any kill cards. Let me go ahead and ping his face again here. So yeah, I'm not sure if that attack was just a bluff or what. Oh, here we go. Angel of Renewal. But I can also play my Solemn Offering. So I think I'm going to do that just to be safe. Gain some life here and take out his enchantment. And draw a card. So the Bringer can also draw a card. And it can also tap down a creature. But I need wastes for that. You can sacrifice something? Nope. That creature, he sacrifices something and does damage to your face. I don't know why he's attacking me with these zombies. Just go ahead and ping his face again. But yeah, you do have to be careful with the zombies, because sometimes there's the 1 mana kill card. We'll go ahead and play the angel out. Gain 4 life. Back up to 20. And draw here again. So yeah, the Bringer here is also another great card for doing some card draw, tapping the creatures down to the opponents, pinging stuff. It's got a lot of nice utility. And as you can see, I've just been holding him off here. I may start tapping his creatures down for good blocks. But hey, let's put Kozilek out here. Now that we have enough mana, draw a bunch of cards, get a 13/13 menace. And hit him for 5 in the air. I probably could have pinged his face there for 1 more damage. The Endbringer. Alright, there's a Cartouche. So Kozilek can't block. But yeah, our opponent's in trouble. And his last card is not going to help him. In fact, why don't we just... I'll just get rid of this and cancel it. That's a Kozilek's ability. You can discard a card and cancel. Let's just play Ulamog here. Destroy a couple creatures. And yeah, we could have some fun with Ulamog, of course, milling the opponent to death as well. But yeah, let's just go ahead and finish him off here. He's going to have to double block. And it's going to be a blowout double block too. Ping his face again. And that should be game. Alright, let's try one more round. And then we'll see how this deck works in Two-Headed Giant. You know, once again, usually, you know, an Eldrazi deck like this, you want green for ramp. But I've designed it, it's much slower, my version here, and because I wanted to limit it to 2 colors and just more Eldrazi creatures instead of filling the deck full of cultivate or rampant growth or those kind of cards. And there is a version of this deck that is pretty fun and is a ramp version, and you can ramp out the bigger Eldrazi. But if you haven't tried it this way, it's kind of a fun alternative way to make an Eldrazi deck based around the Displacer. And I haven't really got to show off the Displacer yet, sadly. Oh, speak it and you shall receive, I guess. I got the Displacer. So yeah, sadly in this format, there's only 2 of them in the deck. Or else I would have many more, but the Displacer is pretty wild. You can displace the Thought-Knot Seer and trigger its ability again. And as I showed in the deck list, lots of creatures that you can displace, including the opponents. So I'm just going to be mana efficient here and play the Thought-Knot Seer first to see what he's working with. Ooh, a couple big worms and Champion of Ronas. Yeah, the worms are going to be problems, so I'm going to exile that in the future because they have trample. I can deal with Ronas, I think. And yeah, I think I'll go ahead and just take this trade. He gets to draw, but that's okay. Once again, with this deck, you just want to keep your life total high until you can get things going. The Scarecrow is a pretty decent blocker at a 1/4, but I had to tap that land to get the counter immediately. You can't really do it at instant speed. It's a sorcery thing. Oh boy. So he's going to go for a big attack, it looks like. Just with his 5/5, and he wants to put some... Oh, he's going to put the worm in. Yeah, I was afraid of that. I'll just let that through. But now with the Displacer, I can do some things. So there's Linvala also. So I just need some lands now. So he's going to tap down my Displacer. It's alright. I'll probably go ahead and trade for his 6/4, give him the chance. That way you don't take any trample damage. And yeah, once again, I'm just playing kind of defensive here. I still feel like the opponent's a little too aggressive. You know, if it's a trade, it's too aggressive. It's not a good attack. Get the Reality Smasher out there. It does have haste, so it can be nice to attack with it right away. But yeah, I'm just gonna, as the previous round, keep blockers back. And I'm happy just trading resources. Because in the end, I'm gonna outvalue the opponent. Shoot, still not getting a land. Now even if he taps down the Displacer, it doesn't really matter, because you can still use the Displacer's ability, so I'm going to keep up mana this turn so I can use the Displacer. And we'll see what he does. So we'll go ahead and displace the 4/4 here, which removes it from combat, exiles it, and puts it back into play, but tapped. And then of course its ability was to untap attacking creatures. So that's why they untapped And I can just block the 3/2, and his attack was kind of pointless. You can also displace tokens, and of course they're gone permanently at that point. So yeah, I won't get an angel if I play this, but I will gain 5 life. Oh, I guess I did get an angel. Never mind. Yeah, I guess the opponent does have 4 creatures and I had only 3. I wasn't counting properly there. So I got both benefits from my angel. She made a 3/3 flying token and I gained 5 life. And once again, you can displace your own angel and do that again if need be. So I could do that again, gain 5 more, and if he's got more creatures than me, I can make another angel, and he definitely does now, so I may just displace her again. Gotta keep in mind, gotta keep 3 mana up for the Displacer's ability. Let's go ahead and get rid of these lifelink tokens. Go to attackers, he's going to tap down the 3/3 angel. That's kind of interesting. I probably should have attacked there with Linvala since I'm planning on displacing it anyway, but maybe it'll discourage an attack here as a 5/5. Nope, that's a terrible attack. So we'll go ahead and let damage happen. I just want to make another zombie. We'll go ahead and displace her. And she'll come back. I gain 5 life. And make another angel. So you can keep doing this as long as the opponent has more creatures than you and more life than you. So this is a good round of showing off the power of the Displacer. So I'm gonna start beating down here. And of course, if I can give everything vigilance with always watching, we're gonna be in really good shape, but not always guaranteed to draw that one. And we're gonna start making clues, which I can use. Oh, there we go. Well, just talk about the cards and they appear magically. But yeah, with always watching, you got some much better attacks. Although it is kind of annoying getting my angel tapped down every turn. And he's got a 5/5 Death Touch God. I'm not too worried about that. And once again, I'm just being defensive. As being aggressive, I've found can lose you the game. So at this point, we can either start drawing with our clues, so we can keep a clue, keep our clues to search up Ulamog or anything nice and big. I think I'll go ahead and play the Endbringer out here. And I'll put a counter on it. Because, yeah, the Endbringer is a great way just to give me extra card draw. And once again, I'm just playing defensive since I think we have this. It's not the artwork that I typically see for an angel, but hey. So he's using his god to give trample and +2 to his cat. Yes, since his other cats with lifelink are gone, he's just going to try to push some damage through. That's what it looks like. suppose, yeah, it's going to attack with the Death Touch, Indestructible God as well. This is fine. I'll trade this in, get something in return, put it on the battlefield. Free land is always nice. And now we have 3 tokens, so I can search up whatever I want. And it doesn't actually cost any mana to search something up. Let's make sure to tap. I guess it doesn't matter too much since this isn't a colorless creature, but I wanted to keep the Oran Reef untapped, and then we gained a bunch of life. Go ahead and ping his face. Since I don't really want to attack with the 7/7. And yeah, we had lethal in the air here. But as always, I like to do, I want to see, give the opponent one more turn just to see what he would have played or what kind of choices they would have made, how the game would have progressed. And sometimes it could be a game changer, one turn. It makes the game much more interesting. But also I kind of want to show off how to use Tomio's Journal here. You can do it at any time, sacrifice 3 of these. And yeah, anything you need. Walker of the Waste is good, a Displacer. The Shepherd is good if you've got lots of creatures in the graveyard. Kozilek, of course. Ulamog. But this is usually the way you want to do it, and that way you can just search up your gigantic creatures. And usually you're getting close to 10 mana at this point, just to straight up play them out. And yeah, I'm fine just chumping this. He's got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, I could create another angel if I wanted to. But yeah, let's just go ahead and ping his face. Make another clue. Another land. So we can play this out to add one more creature. Go ahead and exile my 5/5 angel, because Winners gain more life. So as you can see, I just wanted to show that off. You can continuously bounce your angel over and over again and just keep gaining life. It does re-enter tapped, but you constantly get that re-enter trigger for only 3 mana. So goodbye Displacer, but that's okay, this game is over. So yeah, a little more of a defensive deck, but it is fun. So here we go, let's try this deck in a 2-headed giant round with my good friend Wild Boar. And we'll see if it works with 4 players instead of just the usual 2. Hopefully I can get some Displacer. I can draw the Displacer and show it off. You can use it to, help your partner, save your partner's creatures, for example. Like if there's a burn spell targeting one of your partner's creatures, you can displace it, and that'll save it, and it just comes to back to the battlefield, etc., etc. You can do a lot of fun things with the Displacer. This hand is a little mana heavy, but I'm gonna keep it because this deck needs the mana, and I got some good early plays. And looks like Wild Boar is on the black-white zombie deck, which is always a powerful deck. I don't think I've shown that one off, but I eventually will make a video about that one. It's a pretty good one to play in Two-Headed Giant, so we often use it in Two-Headed Giant. There's a lot of life drain and making a lot of zombie tokens, and zombies just a good creature type in general in Magic. So yeah, I haven't drawn any planes yet. That's a little concerning, but yeah, there's still a lot of colorless creatures in the deck. And Wild Boar is just going to keep up some of his interaction, it looks like. Our opponent is setting up something too. No creatures yet, so that's always a good thing. Especially in Two-Headed Giant, you can be overrun pretty quickly sometimes if the opponents have, early start. So let's see if Wild Boar plays out his Colossus. I guess he is going to, since he didn't have any other great plays available. And if he draws any more zombie creatures, he can start creating tokens with that 2/2 Colossus. So our opponent's got a Plague Belcher and start to finish. So a little bit of a problem. The start makes a couple 1/1 tokens, as you can see, and then the finish, he can destroy a creature by sacrificing a creature, and of course sacrificing a token is a pretty easy thing to do. So start to finish is pretty nice. However, if we make sure he's got no creatures to sacrifice, he can't really use finish. So I'll go ahead and use Contortion here, +3, -3. And Wild Boar is going to kill one of the tokens with Fatal Push. Love that artwork. Here's a finish, if you were wondering. Sacrifice a creature, destroy target creature. So Wild Boar just destroyed both of his tokens, cashed in his 2 copies of Fatal Push, which is a sound strategy because then the opponent can't freely kill one of our creatures. There might be some better targets for Fatal Push, but the opponent will have to replay a creature if they want to sacrifice something to destroy something. And that may be difficult. At least hoping that's going to be difficult. So there's a 3/2 Brawler, and he's just going to make a zombie. Well, that's just a token, so... Alright, a Thought-Knot Seer. Let's go ahead and see what the opponent is up to. It's an interesting choice, too. You have to choose which opponent to look at, and of course your partner gets to view the cards as well once you do this with the Thought-Knot Seer. So it's kind of cool. You can make choices. You can discuss what you think is the most threatening card in the opponent's hand. I don't think the Mummy's a big deal, so I'm just gonna maybe take the counter spell here. You may want to discuss with your partner, with the Mummy, are you okay discarding a card? And if so, or if not, then maybe the Mummy has to go. So a lot of fun decisions to make during Two-Headed Giant. And I'm fine trading this off, as you've seen in the single-player games. And Wild Boar is kind of laying a trap here, since he's attacking with the zombie. That's that single mana zombie kill card I was mentioning previously, that I was a little worried about, but it's a single white. So yeah, the opponent across from me hasn't been able to keep a creature in play, so they haven't been able to take anything out. Hopefully he hasn't drawn into another cancel card. Oh, there's that compulsory rest that I was mentioning on my 4/4, which can't attack and can't block now. But if I draw my... I have to discard now. If I draw my offering, I can destroy that enchantment. So I already have a Blighted Steep out there, so I'll just get rid of the second one. And he's going to hit us for 5. That's fine. Not a real big deal, since that was our first hit. Although that 5/5 is a little threatening. Drew, always watching, but I'm missing 2 planes. I only have the 1. And, yeah. Looks like Wild Boar is going to play a Liliana's Mastery. I'll go ahead and destroy this 5/5, so it's not a threat. The opponent does get a clue token. We'll go to attackers. Once again, I'm fine trading this off. Can always draw something. And once again, Wild Boar is going to blow him out. That one mana card is pretty powerful because it exiles a creature that blocked or was blocked by a zombie. So Wild Boar is going to make a couple zombie tokens with Liliana's Mastery. Sadly, he hasn't gotten to trigger the Colossus this whole game yet. But we're in pretty good shape. And I've got a lot of possible good draws that I can draw into. I'm okay getting Tamio's Journal, any other Eldrazi creatures. Tamio's Journal would be nice, because then I could search up Ulamog in a couple turns. And Ulamog's powerful, but in Two-Headed Giant? Alright, a Displacer. Always fun. Let's get that going. By the way, even though the Displacer has Summoning Sickness, it can still be used immediately. So finally, Wild Boar gets to make a zombie and pump all his zombies with Lord of the Accursed. So he's amassing a pretty powerful zombie army here. I don't think I'll attack this turn, but it looks like Wild Boar's gonna attack with a couple of his 4/4 tokens. Just one. Looks like he's just gonna attack with 1. Keep the other one as a blocker, just in case. And, yeah, instead of a trade, I can just displace this. So it could have been a trade-off, but I wanted Wild Boar to keep more zombies in play. So you can use it to save creatures, you can use it to get rid of tokens, because all tokens will be gone instantly when you displace them, and you can use it for ETB effects. In fact, next turn I may just displace my Thought-Knot Seer, and that'll remove that enchantment from it. That's another way to get that enchantment off. But yeah, the Colossus, if you're wondering, makes 2/2 zombies, which are bigger now because of Lord of the Accursed. So yeah, the opponent across from me hasn't done much this game. But the ground is starting to get a little stalled. Oh, there, he's finally using Finish. And there went the Colossus finally. I was afraid that would happen eventually. But he did have to sacrifice his creature for it. using start to finish. Pretty good kill card, start to finish, especially in a tokens deck. And looks like no attacks from our opponent. He's thinking hard. Another compulsory rest, huh? On a zombie token. That's interesting. So I can't displace that one. So sadly I need 2 planes here. So I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice the Scarecrow. This is why it's in the deck, to grab a couple planes, since I'm short on planes. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have 5 mana, so I think I'm going to keep up the Displacer's ability here. And maybe just go ahead and do this now. So what's interesting, this will leave the battlefield. So target opponent gets to draw a card, and I get to choose which opponent. In Two-Headed Giant, of course, you get a choice. And also, I get to choose that to look at their hand and make them discard a card. So I could pretty much make them discard what they drew. And you could do this over and over again. So yeah, he's only got Scarab Feast. Get rid of that. Now he's just got a land in hand. So it's kind of funny. You can make your chosen opponent draw a card and then make them discard it immediately every time you displace the Thought-Knot Seer. And as you saw, it removed that enchantment. So now I can attack with it again. Let's tap this turn, of course. But yeah, our opponents are almost empty-handed pretty much. They don't really have any great attacks. But yeah, I can't really take that compulsory rest off of Wild Boar's 4/4 zombie, because if I displace it, it's a token, it'll disappear. By the way, Linvala looks at each opponent. So in Two-Headed Giant, it's much easier to trigger Linvala's abilities. I'm going to go ahead and get Always Watching out here, because it's always good. And Wild Boar is going to activate his Lord of the Accursed to give his zombies Menace. So opponent's going to have to double block. And we'll see what kind of blocks he makes, and then I'm going to use the Displacer to really mess up his blocks. Okay, so he's just going to try to get the Thought-Knot Seer. That's not going to work for him. We'll just displace the token. So it's gone for good. 4/4 will die. And I'll get to draw something here. Reprisal, not a bad leftover. Haven't really seen any good targets for it though. But it's always good if the opponent has a surprise big creature. But yeah, Linvala the Preserver also looks at, the opponent's. So in Two-Headed Giant, it can be quite relevant. Her making extra tokens for you and gaining life for you and your buddy. But yeah, the opponent stabilized a little bit with that 3/3 cat, the Caracal with the 2/2 lifelink cats. It's always a powerful play. But yeah, I think we've got this game in hand here. Sadly, Wild Boar's draws haven't been the greatest. He hasn't drawn very many zombie cards. I'm going to go ahead and get this Walker of the Wastes started because it's a 9/9 trample. And once again, Wild Boar is going to do Menace. just going to do a brutal attack here, and if he tries any kind of double blocking... Oh, triple block. Boy, he really does not like my Thought-Knot Seer. That is not going to work for him. I guess we'll take out one of these and then I'll trade for the others. I could have taken out the cat, but then it would have come back to the field and created 2 more tokens. So that's why I decided just to go for the trade. Because, yeah, our opponent is in trouble. Our opponents are in trouble. Their field is bare. And they don't have much. They got a lot of lands. If they play any kind of big creature, I'll just reprisal it. Yeah, they got nothing, so... And I got plenty of nice leftovers here. Celestial Flare, so some great cards for dealing with any other creatures he tried to play. But we'll just go ahead and get Linvala out there. She's not going to do much since we have more life than the opponents, and the opponents have less creatures than us. But yeah, once again, if that changes, and even if you played your Linvala, you can still displace her and get the benefits later in the game. But yeah, that's the end of our opponents. Pretty fun game. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Check out my main channel, East Guru Japan Gaming, and we'll see you all in the next Magic Duels video. Hope you try out this deck sometime. It's a lot of fun, and it can be a lot of fun with a partner too as well. See you next time.